Well, Tonia Buxton, have faux liberals like Trudeau and those who support his war on the Freedom Convoy exposed their contempt, really, their contempt for blue-collar folk, and I think actually, too, betrayed their anti-establishment roots?
It's a horror what's happening in Canada. It's an absolute horror that common working people, decent people who just want to fight for their own bodily autonomy are being treated in this way. They're being treated as though they're terrorists. But this is their home, this is their lives, this is their bodies that they're trying to have some autonomy over. And yet he is behaving like that. And yet he then goes out and talks about having democracy and behaving in a liberal way when he's doing exactly that. But you know what's the most horrifying about all of this, Dan, is the complete blanket silence of the mainstream media. This channel is the only television channel that's showing this and showing Trudeau for what he is. I was speaking to people on the street and I've been asking people all day today, and I have been for the past few days, isn't it terrible what's going on in Canada? And people look at me strange and say, hi, what's going on in Canada? We're being force-fed whatever's going on in the Ukraine and Russia. But Canada is part of NATO. It's part of a state membership that we are members of. We should be speaking up. In democracies, we should be speaking up against the way that he is treating his people. He is behaving like a despotic fascist, and he's getting away with it because no one's stopping him, and it's shameful. And my heart goes out to all the Canadians. It goes out to the Canadian people. It goes out to the peaceful truckers who are just making a stance for themselves and their families.
And Tonia, I've been looking at this very closely, and I've also been looking very closely at a similar freedom convoy inspired by the Canadian truckers in Jacinda Ardern's New Zealand. And Trudeau and Ardern, they are following exactly the same playbook, Tonia. What they're trying to do is unfairly demonize these protesters as neo-Nazi, right-wing white supremacists. That is a lie, number one. And then the second thing that's going on, and this is very disturbing, people are infiltrating these protests to do violent acts, and then the leaders are using those small number of violent acts to demonize the entire protest. It's the complete opposite, by the way, Tonia, of what these exact same leaders did during the Black Lives Matter movement.
Absolutely. What they are doing is horrific, and the world must watch them and the world must speak up. And the worst thing that they're doing is that if you want to support these people, like if I was in Canada at the moment, I would be sending them money. I would be going, driving there and taking them coffees and lunches and looking after their children and helping as much as I can, because they're fighting for body autonomy and freedom. They're not fighting to blow someone up. They're not fighting for hate. They are a peaceful, kind people who just want to be heard by the people that are supposed to be listening to them. Trudeau is supposed to be listening and serving his people, and he's not. He's abusing them. And anybody that wants to help these people is also being abused. We've heard cases of single mothers who, way back when, sent $50 to the truckers, having their accounts frozen. We're hearing things about truckers who are being arrested, having their pets killed. I mean, this is barbaric and it's insanity. And I want to hear the leaders of the free world standing up against him. Why are they not speaking up? Why is Boris not saying anything?
Well, we're not hearing anything, are we? We're not hearing anything apart from a few brave Tory backbenchers at this stage. One of them, Marcus Fish, who was on this show talking about it last week, and I absolutely commend him for speaking up. But no, we're not hearing it from any of the leaders. I think there's a complete Oh, sorry, you go, Tonia.
There, for the grace of people like the Together Declaration, go us, go we. Thank goodness us in Britain, we've got some amazing Tory backbenchers. They're the ones that are fighting for us. We've come together as people like people that are doing the Together Declaration, which I'm part of, standing up for our rights, standing up for our freedoms, and checking the people that we elected to govern us. And that's what's going on in Canada at the moment. And I despair for the people going on there. Why is no one speaking up? What he's doing is fascism. It's despotic. It should be illegal. He should be going to prison now for crimes against humanity. And yet he's not. He's standing there talking against Putin. and he, in my eyes, is far worse because he is turning guns and equipment and police on his own people. How is he getting away with this?
Remember, these are people, on the whole, who have lost their jobs for choosing not to have a medical procedure. That is what it comes down to. But, Tonia, I think it's the work of people like you and the Together Declaration that have actually stopped this situation coming to the UK, and that's incredibly important. And that's the reason why we were fighting so hard for our civil liberties over the past year. Sometimes people would say, Tonia, wouldn't they? Oh, why do you care if you have to put a mask on? Why do you care if you have to stay home for a while? And I'll tell you why. Because it leads to what is going on right now in Canada and right now in New Zealand. And thank God we have avoided this in the UK. And let me tell you, if Keir Starmer was the Prime Minister right now, we would be in exactly the same situation. Tonia Buxton, thank you so much for being here tonight.